G'day guys, welcome back to another Fair Income episode. In this week's just a regular lads chat, calm 50 minutes episode where we speak about celebrity culture, especially regarding Melbourne and obviously on the online side of things. We also touched upon travels. Ashraf and Ali just came back from Perth, so they dabble into their story. Sus just got back from Sydney, so he dabbles into that as well. We spoke about a lot. Honestly, I can't even remember right now. Just get straight into the episode, and I hope you guys enjoy. Peace. Moved. Do you know what I mean? Because you know when you meet someone for the first time, you don't know what you're going to expect out of them. Type of, whereas when you compare it to someone you already sort of know, you've already created a mental image prior to actually getting to know them. And then also that like 1 or 2 minute interaction you'll get with like your Sonny Bill or whatever is never ever going to do anything justice. You know what I mean? You're never going to know him on a deeper level. So it's always going to be like this like conception that you have of him in your head.
Yeah, it's awkward because I've seen people walk up to other people and go, you know, bro, you inspire me and da da da, and I'm like
Through what?
yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it's like I can only imagine how awkward it would be for the person on the other side to go.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so he'll make a comment like that, whatever in Christianity, about this in Christianity. It's like, calm. That's your opinion. He gets like a couple of form of backlash or he's on the verge of getting cancelled or whatever. Then all of a sudden, like, he doesn't agree with anything that he says. You know what I mean? Then he'll say something about the whole feminism movement, all that kind of stuff. And so you can't listen to people without a backbone. Whereas George, even though he's a bit how you going in all his other aspects, at least he's down for his religion. Like, he rides for his religion.
I don't know much about him, but what I've seen is pretty good. At least for a guy on that stage, he doesn't have to say half the stuff he does. But it seems like he stands for something, you know?
Yeah,
Logan Paul's just a character, bro.
yeah,
He's just trying to be a cartoon character.
He added Logan Paul like if you don't stand for nothing.
You don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he said. Tweeted like if somebody.
Who said this?
Like,
Sonny Bill said this.
Like I'll never let my kids.
Oh, Sonny Bill, yeah. Yeah, Sonny Bill was talking about it. I don't know, man. I'm looking at. He's a
text
trash
Sonny
human,
about
bro.
it?
Huh?
Did you text Sonny?
I wish, bro.
Best buddies.
He's a big dog, bro. He's actually a big dog.
Time will tell, bro. It's
He's huge,
inevitable.
mashallah, in real life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, 6'5", 6'6",
You there?
He's a big bear.
Giant,
Yeah. He's
yeah.
a big bear, yeah.
giant.
What,
Wallah.
taller than Abshir?
Yeah, he's taller than Abshir.
Okay.
But
Even
he's
guys
solid.
that are solid,
Yeah.
their frame looks bigger.
Even bigger,
Yeah.
He's solid, bro. Allah,
Yeah.
Allahumma barik.
And he's doing boxing now too, like...
How
Mashallah.
was he as well? Like just as a bloke having a chat with him.
Soft, kind-hearted
It's
human.
amazing, yeah.
Always gives people the time, you know.
To talk.
Like he gives them a bit of a conversation, even though you could tell he's disinterested. Like
Yeah.
he
He's heard it
still
all
give
before,
you, he'll
that's
still
why.
give you the time, bro.
He's hurt
You know,
That's
everything.
amazing.
I think what the problem is, like, I don't know about you guys. I think this could go on the podcast anyway. Like we'll kind of just skim into it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what do you do when you see somebody you've watched for a long time, or somebody you appreciate, or somebody that you look up to? You see them in real life. What's the first thing that you say to them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what would you say?
How awkward is that? Like
Sometimes you don't
situation,
even know.
that counter.
Like you're kind of shocked. Oh, he's here, and then it kind of happens. You like if it's a Muslim guy, you give salam. It's like, oh, what do I say now?
Yeah,
You kind of just run with the.
like, do I play it cool, whatever it is? Da, da, da.
Uh,
I remember initially.
fanboy.
Do you remember what happened with Teddy? Like I told you guys the story.
When you met
Yeah,
him
yeah,
at the donut place,
It was
yeah?
a
with
like,
Kamadas.
there was a mutual respect, but we could only tell through Instagram and social media and stuff. And then I was out with my little brother. I was in my pajamas basically. I went to go pick up Kamadas in North Melbourne.
Yeah.
All you see is I see Teddy walk in, and I've got my mask on. I'm kind of locked eyes with him,
Yeah.
and then I can see him kind of smiling and
Yeah.
like nodding. And I smiled, nodded back at him, and I said, you know what? He's with his missus. He's with his family. Let me not be awkward and
Keep
walk
on.
up to him and be like, how are you, bro? I appreciate you, da 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 da. And then like, I make it an awkward interaction after that because it's like, okay, I already know everything about you, or kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like not him specifically, but what do you do when you're in a situation where you appreciate this person from a distance for so long? Do you know what I mean? Like if we were to meet Omar Suleiman, or we were to meet, Mufti Mink or something like that, what do you do? Like he's already told you everything. He has already spoken it all.
yeah.
Like do you tell him,
Yeah.
I know this about you? Barista wouldn't have a problem doing that. But
I think it's also because the element of surprise is removed. Do you get what I mean? Because you know when you meet someone for the first time, you don't know what you're going to expect out of them. Type of, whereas when you compare it to someone you already sort of know, you've already created a mental image prior to actually getting to know them. And then also that like 1 or 2 minute interaction you'll get with like your Sonny Bill or whatever is never ever going to do anything justice. You know what I mean? You're never going to know him on a deeper level. So it's always going to be like this like conception that you have of him in your head.
It's awkward because I've seen people walk up to other people and go, you know, bro, you inspire me and da da da, and I'm like
Through what?
yeah, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's like I can only imagine how awkward it would be for the person on the other side to go.
Yeah.
What do I
Yeah.
say to that?
I've seen that happen to Sheikh Bilal a lot. Like when
Yeah.
if I'm with him somewhere or just like someone will just come up to him and kind of say those statements, and I just wouldn't know how to react. But maybe that's something that people on that level communicate to each other.
Yeah.
Like Sheikh Bilal, you saw that video with him, Mufti Menk, Sulaim and Ali
Oh,
Dawah.
That's mad.
Maybe in that those at that level, you have conversations with each other.
What's
Yeah.
Ali
Because-
Dawah do with them lads? What's Ali Dawah do with them?
He's only local.
Bittersweet
Yeah.
podcast. Was he here?
I think it was in London.
No,
Oh,
you
was
yeah,
can't
when he
do
went
that.
London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off. Sorry.
It's just one of those things where like Sheikh Bilal will even look at Mufti Menk, and Mufti Menk probably gets it so much more than him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's
yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, go.
Go ahead. No,
I was gonna
it's-
say,
it's
you-
off topic.
Even the whole, what do you call it, fanning over celebrities and stuff is just like a weird concept. Like even when like Chunkz and stuff came to like Australia and stuff, I'm thinking, bro, all these people lined up within like 1 hour notice, yeah, to get like a photo with him. And I saw a video of something, you know, when
in
he was,
an alleyway or something.
they went a random Chinatown or something like that, yeah. Bro, I remember I saw a random video when, you know, when he went to the club and he done the performance and stuff, yeah. Someone was there and they're like, oh, so tell me your favorite like video of Chunkz or your favorite music or song or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I don't know. You know what it is? It's a sheep's mentality. They only were there because everyone saw that these guys were big enough and they meant of something to society or whatever.
Yeah.
But if someone asked you that, what would you say?
I don't have a favorite.
Vibranium.
Like a Baby Squad video?
No, just like if someone just asked you like, hey,
Oh, I'd name
legendary,
it. Yeah.
you know, what's your favorite Chunk song or video? Like I wouldn't even know what comes to my head, even though I watch his videos.
Yeah,
be
you
fair-
throw direct videos, the one where he's
Yeah, but
kicking
Yeah,
it
I
with
know.
to
the
be fair, he's done a lot of content.
Yeah,
so it's
I get
hard
you,
to-
I get
Yeah,
But like, it is a
but
put on
people
the
are
spot.
sheeps. People are sheeps. They
Yeah.
just
I
go.
remember Fusichu back in the day. You remember when he done his daily vlogs? He had
Yeah.
some kid come up to him and say, "He's a little kid. He's like 10 years old. He's like, oh, you really inspire me." He goes, "Really? What's your favorite video?" And then the kid's like, And he's
on the
like, "See,
spot
you're not a
hard.
real fan. You're not a real. What do you used to call his fans?"
What do you call it?
I just know it's the best
No,
family
you
on
should know
YouTube.
this, bro. I was one of them.
Well,
Well, I know Adam
whatever-
Salah was
yeah.
a movie gang.
Yeah, well, basically the
I
equivalent.
just
of
remember
that
his intro
Fusichu.
though. Welcome to the best family on YouTube, wasn't that?
Yeah.
Bro, it's- back in the day, to me, I was like, bro, this guy's got it all. And now I'm just like, that's so corny, bro.
Yeah, when you
You
look
don't
at
realize
it.
when you're younger, man.
Man, I feel
That's
so
what.
good.
That's
innit?
what probably the new generation look at, like TikTok stars and stuff. You know, the TikTok stars that do their dancing and all this kind of stuff, or their skits. The same way we probably looked up to like Adam Salah and
YouTubers.
the YouTubers back then is
Yeah.
how they look up to them
It's just
now.
a phase, I guess, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there was a time where I used to watch this guy in America, his light skinned guy in America, used to do gym videos. He used to do like daily vlogs. And I used to be like, I used to rate this guy's videos so much. I went back and watched the video. I was like, what the hell was I doing? Why was I watching this blood stuff?
Yeah.
But I guess it's kind of like in the mindset or the state that you're in at that time. You're like, you see somebody you reckon has something that you lack, and you're like, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
watch this guy for this reason. Like, if somebody's very confident out there in social, whatever, they would watch Logan Paul's old vlogs and go,
Yeah.
oh my God, this guy's amazing. Look, he
Yeah.
does something every
Yeah.
day. He's spontaneous. But he's an aerator, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it does something to your brain because as a kid, you look at that and then you go, they've got everything.
Yeah.
And obviously, as a kid, you're in your room most of the time. If you're at school, then whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like the whole world is like an endless opportunity to you.
100%.
And then you got FusiTube, or like Roman Atwood was the one that was wild because he's the one that took the whole YouTube game to a whole new level when he was doing the consistent vlogs. Because he turned his backyard into like everything a kid would want. He would have a tractor one time and a ski there and then this and that. And he would have like 500,000, like, you know, the balls, the bouncy balls type of thing. You remember those challenges that were going around?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, of course I'm trying to live a life like this rather than,
Yeah.
you know?
I think one thing that everyone's different, everyone's different intentions. But I think now maybe just like with Chunkz coming to town and stuff, all people are going for is a photo. That's all it is. It's a shallow connection. There's no, if you ask Chunkz, hey, do you remember meeting me? After one photo you took with him for 5 seconds, he's never going to remember.
He's too busy singing to Chris
And,
Brown.
Yeah.
and see, the reason for the photo is just to show others.
Yeah, because
Oh,
I know
look, I saw Chunkz.
I know me, like
I
I
saw
got
this
a
person.
photo with Mufti Menk and Hezbollah. All it was, hey, can we get a photo? So you smiled and then you walked away.
Sure.
It's like, it's a nice photo to have, but it's like I was at a place and they were there. Like it happened, but then it doesn't change anything. Like it would have been better to have a deep conversation with Mufti Menk, asking for advice. He gave me advice, like Mufti Menk gave me advice on this.
I was gonna ask, how do you bridge that gap though? How do you create an interesting enough conversation with this person that makes them go, okay, let me lock into what you're doing here rather than just doing what the past 150 people have been doing. Touch me on the shoulder, take a photo, and
you can't if it's literally a meet and greet. It's not a meet and greet and ask important questions.
I think
it's a meet and take a photo.
I think it might be down to luck as well. Not luck in the sense that like it just so happens to be that this person was in this like mind frame or whatever, and then you just happen to say the right thing or whatever, speak about that type of thing. You know what I mean? Other than that, because unless let's just say we know Hezbollah, for example, I don't know, him punching people type of thing. 150 people, like you said, have already probably thought of the same thing. So if they're asking that same question, you're not going to connect with him on that level type of thing. But on the off chance that you know that he likes this type of Mustang or whatever because he loves his cars or whatever, then it's just, he'll connect with you and you remember that type of thing, you know? So
it is a bit of luck, you're right.
I think at certain levels, all you're doing is meeting people. Hezbollah and Mufti Menk, they just meet people. You know what I mean? They're not like staying home with the family. Let's see, like Sheikh Bilal, he's at home, still working his job, gives his lectures weekly. And then here and there he'll go on overseas trips and meet people. I think Mufti Menk Hezbollah is like every weekend they're somewhere.
They're never home,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's a very different, like they literally every single day are meeting people. So they've heard of everything you can say to them.
Yeah, 100%. And you think you're creative, you go in there.
Yeah, bad. I've spoken to how many people in one day?
But I don't know, man. I feel like when you get to this point, you start to look at them and you're like, wow, they're human beings. I don't know. I've had experiences with people that I've looked up to when I was young and I met them in real life and became close to them. And when I became close to them, I realized, wow, you're a human hard, bro. You're like, you're worse than me, actually. You know what I mean?
But it takes a while, to start to realize these things.
And it sinks in and then you're like, wow, like, what the hell was, like, do you know what I mean? And then, but like, it gives you a different appreciation for the person. Because now you're starting to see them as in like, not some sort of like this model or this, you know, this thing that's on a TV screen anymore. They're just something beyond that. And they're like a human being. They go through their day-to-day lives. They have certain things that are, you know, that get to them. Like, I don't know if I can say this story because this will make everything make sense.
You say that?
All right. There's a person that I know that's relatively famous, especially in Australia. I've become very close to him, made a decent connection with him over the past year or so. What he does is, I was with them somewhere, and then after that there was an event that we were going to go to all together. See, I'm trying to be very secretive in what I'm saying, but there was an event that we went to after that me and someone else that I was with went to that he would have been more than welcome to go to, but he said, nah, you know what, I'm not going to go because I don't really go to those types of events and it's, you know, it's a bit late, I got to get going anyway. So he ends up leaving, and then I'm like, oh, okay, no problem, inshallah. And then I find out maybe a week or two later, have another conversation with him. I say, oh, I saw your friend at the thing, and he sent you a selfie of me and him together. He asked where you were, and he goes, look, to be honest with you, Suhail, I was going to go, but I didn't receive an invitation. I'm like, what? I'm like, you think you need an invitation?
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
wow.
You think you need an invitation to go there, bro? You would have been welcome with open arms. I would have chucked you on the stage as well. Like, what do you mean, bro? And he's like, nah, bro, look, I just find it a bit, you know, awkward to go to a place that I wasn't invited. And I'm like, I could have fathomed that because I'm like, bro, I like from the out, you are,
no one's gonna say
you're
no
the
to
guy,
you.
you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
You're him.
but then you're like, wow, even he has those, you know, those feelings. He doesn't really kind of float like you used to think he did, you know?
For sure.
They say it's lonely at the top because even like those invites, people just go, oh, he's probably too busy.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to invite him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you know, I want to go to community events, but then it's like, oh, sometimes people think, oh, if I'm inviting you, I'm because I want your clout.
Yeah.
And then the person's thinking, oh, are they inviting me for clout?
Yeah.
But then sometimes they're just sitting at home and they're like, you know, I only get invited when people need me. I want to get invited for the friends and the community.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, man.
Half the perception is what we create on them that probably doesn't even exist in their world type of thing as well.
But yeah, then there's like a line we have to toe to make us not look like fanboys. You know what I mean? Or like fangirls. And we come up to these people and we're like to them, oh yeah, like, I'd really love to kick it with you. And they're like, you know, like, I don't make an excuse now, but I don't want to chill with you. Like, relax. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to cop that. That's
Exactly,
putting
that's
your
too
neck out for no reason.
100%.
That's where it gets a bit awkward. But
And as a man, no, I'm joking. But I was gonna say, like anyone alive right now, is there a person you would fan over? Not fan to the degree, like obviously like fan, but you'd be very excited to meet in person.
come back to me. I'll have to think about this one.
The thing is, even me, like,
And no
I'll come
Muhammad
back to
Ali's and
no, I'll come back
not
to that
past the
answer.
present.
But even something like me, when I meet someone new, I don't usually buckle. Like, as in, you just go say hello, something not that deep, And then I saw, do you know the guy from Dylan Friends?
Yeah,
I saw him at the airport once.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was ordering, and then you
Dylan
went.
Buckley.
to
Yeah, Dylan Buckley. So I saw him and I'm like, okay, boom, I'll go say hello. Tell him about the podcast, just chat to him. My heart started shaking, and I'm thinking like, bro,
Who's this bloke? Bro? You're gonna get a game
a month ago I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
It's just that interaction and stuff like that. So even if someone isn't your Muhammad Ali, there might be someone at a lower level. You might still buckle. Like even me, it's not that I look up to him or anything. I just saw him on a couple podcasts, but just that confrontation, like, oh, what if he gets awkward? What if what am I gonna say?
Yeah.
Then I started getting a bit red, and I'm like, why am I getting red? Let's just do this.
For sure.
And it was one of the situations. So even when you're gonna meet your role model or someone that you watch on YouTube, you might still buckle.
Yeah.
And then it gets hard to know what the right thing to say is. And I have a bit more experience with chatting with people. Someone else might not be as open. So, it's hard for people. That's why they get socially awkward if they're seeing your role model or someone you see on,
And
videos.
you pray that your role models actually got some social cues or like the ability to socially interact, because
So take a photo and walk
That's
away.
true.
It's like
Push it,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
You might not know until you meet them, but like, oh, wow, this guy's actually a bit socially awkward.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
He doesn't know how to deal with the
Sometimes-
situation.
Sometimes people diss people. They're like, oh, I met this guy for the first time and he's an absolute douchebag. Do you get what I mean? And you might have caught him on his off day, or like he's
That's
just
true.
awkward like that in person type of thing. So he's not going to go out his way and do an 101 for you. And plus, the energy that you might perceive on social media, on YouTube or something like that, might not what he's actually like in real life. You know what I mean? And then there's the people that naturally have like, I guess, the gift of the gab, and they're down to earth. So regardless of who they're talking to, it almost give you that feeling that you're talking to them like you've met them before type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you said, bro, could be an off day.
Yeah.
Who would be that person for you?
I haven't thought of it, bro. Because I was thinking about it earlier. I was thinking, bro, because JJ Redick has been coming out with some bang podcasts. Yeah, like the Paul George one, the Dame, like it's some nice episodes, And it's interesting because I like his podcast because it's interesting to see the day in the life of what a normal celebrity is. Because Dame Lillard said something the other day where they were asking about him not winning a championship in Portland. And the clip went like semi-viral or whatever. And he started speaking about how like it's not the be-all or end-all for me. Because at the end of the day, like I literally clock off from whatever work, which is basketball to me. And then I go see my friend. My friend flies in to Portland, chills with me at my house. We play PlayStation together. Then I play with my daughter. And then I chill with my grandma on the weekends type of thing. You know what I mean? He goes like, I have like a proper like regular life type of thing. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, bro, how cool would it be to listen to like, I guess these soccer stars and their inside stories on the drive home from somewhere, or like after a heated exchange in a locker room type of thing, The person who I would love or really interested to listen to.
Right.
No, not John Moran.
Not now.
Definitely not John Moran. Russell Westbrook, bro.
Oh, by the way, sorry, before you continue,
Yeah.
don't forget, we got a TikTok clip of me saying John Morant will be hated, yeah?
Oh, no
I
way.
called
actually
it
say
a year,
that?
2 years ago.
Do you remember?
What the hell?
Wait, what'd you say it for?
I said John Morant will be hated.
You could see the future, bro.
Sorry,
Did he actually say that? But he
sick.
also said LeBron James would get injured
Oh,
last
yeah.
year.
He did get injured. No, I said he got injured.
And that'll be the
But I feel like it'll be the end of it.
the
He
end
won't
of
win
him,
another
yeah.
championship.
for
But
sure.
he's still a gun.
Yeah.
Can't get around
So you
it.
want to meet Westbrook?
Westbrook,
What would
yeah?
you chat to him about?
No. But not meet him and fan over him. But I feel like someone like him, you'd get a really nice, like conversation out of to
So
understand.
you're just answering that question like, who would you want to have
Like-
dinner with, a sit down
Like
chat
a
with?
sit down, like decent,
Yeah.
like conversation with type of thing. Because if we're talking from the fanning point of perspective, like, well, like, other than like, for example, like a Hezbollah type of thing, you just happen to be that you were there at that event, two birds, one stone. I couldn't see myself going somewhere specifically to go wait out in a line
like
for
that
someone.
Chunkz thing,
Yeah, like that.
yeah.
Chunk
It's a
thing.
bit weird, man. It feels
You didn't want to
strange.
do that?
Say again?
You didn't want to do that?
Maybe.
Cause-
No, joke. You're like that.
If you didn't do the club thingy, I would have like, because I was in the city that day and these guys were in the city on the weekend. But then because it was so packed and stuff, it's like if it wasn't going to be as busy, I wouldn't mind going, seeing him, chatting with them, you know?
Did you see the audience though? I don't know if you looked at the mix of the people that were there.
Was
It's
it young?
not even, yeah,
I would
young.
say kids, not kids. I would say
But they,
young adults. I'd say.
I don't know if it's obviously this is the court of public opinion. This is what happens when you go up online and you do things. You're basically open to the court of public opinion. What happened with his situation?
Which one?
Like
Chris Brown thing.
The Chris Brown thing. Even beyond that as well, all these
Yeah.
other things of him getting caught in clubs and stuff. Don't you feel like he's lost the support of the Muslims? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Happened
Yeah.
as soon as he announced the party.
Are you saying in Melbourne here?
In Melbourne,
Yeah.
all the
I think
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
there was an element of it,
Mm.
especially like Ahmed exactly
Well,
said.
I've like,
Yeah,
because I remember years ago, Somali Week, they wanted to bring him down. And it was one of those things. He wasn't like that big then. He was just a YouTuber, and everyone's kind of said he's gonna come down. You know, I didn't expect the first public event for him when he comes down to Melbourne would be at a club. The first public event.
Yeah.
If there was 5 other events, meet and greets organized, and this and that, you know, maybe it will be. But that was literally the only event you'd see,
yeah,
like the only poster, and it's at a club. So for me, it's like I always looked and said like he's a good image.
yeah.
You know, obviously he still can be, but the idea that it might be happening in other cities, like I don't know what he's doing, other
Yeah.
meet and greets if they're all at clubs.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
known.
just hard for
it's known that Chunkz, I guess, makes club appearances and stuff. Like he's known to do that type of thing. But I think going back to Susa's point about the type of audience and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, if he has a core base of audience in Australia that he's been wanting to see or whatever type of thing. Yeah, and I guess they're not technically what you do at the moment. They're not of your demographic. When you go outwardly to do that, that becomes like a big problem type of thing, you know what I mean? So like, for example, if these people have been watching you since the start, whatever, like I guess the Somalis or the younger Muslims or just like overall the younger guys type of thing, but then you come here and then you accommodate to that specific like audience type of thing, that's where it sort of like becomes like the problem type of thing, you know?
I think the benefit of the doubt, they were just supporting Young Philly's organization. 'Cause that's the thing he was
And
talking about.
also,
Nah,
I
yeah,
don't,
see,
but that-
I don't think he would have also done a meet and greet if he got that backlash. You know what I mean? Because he got a lot of
Interesting.
backlash for the whole whatever.
In
like
Melbourne?
the club thing type of thing.
Okay.
Because the meet and greet, it was poorly organized. Everything was just like 1 hour.
It seems like a
1
last
hour.
minute thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 1 hour and a half notice or
Yeah.
something like that.
But even that, like you probably could organize something. You're a big enough celebrity, all 4 of them, to organize a meet and greet. You know, Coach Kings could have done it, or this
Yeah,
person.
but even Culture King's a bit techie, yeah?
Yeah,
The place
Yeah.
isn't really Muslim friendly,
yeah.
if you want to say. If
but-
you want to
Yeah,
be
I know what
honest.
you mean. Yeah.
But it's
But
better
he's-
than
Yeah,
a
it's
club.
better than a club.
100%.
Yeah, like for us, like in group chats, people sending, "Do you want to go to the club?" And it's like practicing Muslims are thinking that's a
Yeah.
value. That's an idea. It's like a valid point.
yeah.
You know.
And the other thing as well, especially like the Somali community too, because Somali community hella relentless, bro. Like it's like black or white type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone comes out and it's opposite to, like there's a saying, it's like if you're not Muslim, you're not Somali type of thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know how like I guess 99%, like someone will come out on a TikTok one day and they'll be like hella liberal, you know what I mean? And they'll go down, I don't want to say whatever routes or whatever, and then the next person will duet that video and be like, you're not Somali to begin with type of thing, as in the Somali identity. And that's a problem in of itself and whatever.
Wh-
You
What?
know a lot of those Somali girls that go with white guys and they give it to their lives online.
Yeah.
Somali guys are
I didn't want to say it,
What-
but yeah.
What were people saying about Chunkz? Like, 'cause I don't have Twitter. Maybe like your Somali Twitter saying anything.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
because he's had a couple of hiccups as of recent, you know, with the Chris Brown thing. But I think everyone floored him for that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no, that's
Just
true, that's
the
just
general
true.
mass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And then the meet and greet was one, but I think that was more within the
Melbourne.
like Australian community type of thing. And then in the recent Beta Squad video, I don't know if you saw. So in the recent Beta Squad video, not the recent one, the one before last week's one, whatever, when he's in the box, in that box video, and then after they got pork or whatever it was unhalal cheese or meat. Was it meat or cheese?
It's pork, it's ham.
It was like a ham type of thing, whatever. The producer stuffed up, whatever, and he's just making a joke or something along those lines. He goes, "You know, we don't eat meat. It's called like pork or this, that." And at the end of it, while he's saying that, and he's just being bantered, but then he just says randomly out of nowhere, he goes, on sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or something like that. You know what I mean? And it was like the most awkwardest thing in the world. And someone clipped that, yeah, and they chucked it on TikTok, and it got chucked on Twitter, and it's like it went
Yeah.
viral type of thing.
Oh,
And it's like,
Subhanallah.
It's
Well,
not
I wouldn't
doing-
want to be in that spotlight, man.
You know,
Like,
you know
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is. I'm looking at it for what it is now. Like a lot of the Muslim YouTubers and all these influencers that are Muslims have come out, and a lot of the Muslim community have welcomed them with open arms to begin with, because they've always started out in a very innocent light. Like they haven't done anything to kind of push the boundaries religiously. And then when they start to get a little bit more attention and fame, and they get a bit of clout, and they kind of get attention from people outside of the Muslim community, you start to notice that they start to divert their path. They start to take detours. Because
gradually.
We've never experienced this, but I see it like it's a very common trend, yeah? And the scary thing about that is like, do we all do that if we were all in that similar position?
So just to add on to that though, I think that with Chunkz, it's sort of a different one where, who knows, because I don't think he might have detoured per se, because he got into the whole limelight type of thing. He was pretty young, I guess you'd say, like whatever, 18.
Super young,
18, 19 type of thing. I think what he fails to realize is like, he's garnered this audience and he's got a massive platform, and a lot of the things that he does like has repercussions type of thing. I guess it's similar to maybe the Ja Morant type of thing to a degree, you know what I mean? Like you can't go flashing a gun and expect no consequence type of thing. So with Chunkz, like let's just say he was on that like style or whatever prior to that when no one knew him like that. You know what I mean? You can't be doing that publicly now, especially with such a young audience and all that kind of stuff now. And also especially when you hold and outwardly verbally say, these are my so-and-so values.
He doesn't seem like a dumb brother. It seems like he knows the deen. Like when he stopped the music and he said all that stuff. When he called in that brother for Speed, when Speed said he wanted to convert to Islam.
Which brother?
I don't know, he was some random
But I
guy.
know even what's that? Does the shoot fit? He said, I don't want to be on the last season of it.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of see traces that he knows what he's doing. The problem is, how much can you plead ignorance when Allah SWT asks you all these questions in the hereafter? That's the stinker for me. It's like the problem isn't that the capacity at which like publicizing your sins. And I guess you can give him the excuse that he's not the one who put the video up of him in the club singing with Chris Brown. He didn't intentionally go out of his way to do that. It was somebody else who was in the club who took the video and put it up. But still, it's like...
You got to be more intentional than now. Type of thing.
You can't maneuver dumb because people always got their eyes on you,
Yeah, exactly.
People always have their eyes on you. They're always taking notes of what you're doing or they can document it. And somebody who's documented it has put it up. It made you kind of look a bit... in the end of the day, it's between you and God. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, as a Muslim brother, I look at you and I'm like, maybe you should just be a little bit smart about the way you maneuver, bro. Because you can't justify it with God. God knows everything,
Tell me one thing then, before I'll diverge into this, it'll probably make its own little episode as well. But do you think, I guess, like let's get rid of the Somali community in-house telling you like they're relentless type of thing. Do you think the Muslim community, especially when it comes to online social media figures and all that kind of stuff, are pretty harsh when it comes to like whatever it's right and wrong and all that?
Yeah, 100%. But we copy shellacking a little. We're not even that big. Sometimes, bro, some random guys will tell us about the rainbow bookshop.
I'm telling you, allow it, bro.
We still cop that. How long have we had it for?
Or we're on the podcast talking about the deen and we have shuyukh and we have people in the community that are trusted. You're telling me we're going to be putting out rainbow subliminal messaging. Allah said that, man. You're gone, bro.
This is specifically, all it is, it's color coding. It's pleasing to the eye. It has no resemblance. You know what I mean?
So Ashraf has OCD, bro. That's
all it is.
That's the truth.
No one commented about why it's white and black on this side. You know what I mean? But everyone commented out.
No, we're subliminally.
They sure you could have said something by now.
Come on, man. I can't believe that sometimes. I remember like I've seen it like once or twice. I'm like, okay, no problem. But then again, court of public opinion, that's we literally open ourselves up to it. But listen, let's just end the argument here. If you have any further questions, argue with yourself. But
send it to our email, but we never check it. By the way, guys, there's 80% of you guys who watch our videos are actually not subscribed. So stop the video right here. My voice cut out. Stop the video right here. Subscribe. I'll give him a second. Now we can resume the video. Enjoy.
So but no, that makes me laugh, bro. Like for example, this kind of stuff. Everybody will always find a problem with somebody. But we can be the first people to kind of stand up for the person who's in a situation where they've done something that doesn't really directly incriminate them. But if you're doing something that's where you can't even argue, like being in a club as a Muslim man, knowing there's a billion cameras doing this in the crowd, it's different, bro. Then having like, for example, I slipped up and I said something small on a podcast. Somebody took a clip, put it out of context and tried to wipe the floor. Like they do for Ali Dawa a fair bit. Yeah, or they do with Muhammad hijab a fair bit.
Mm.
Like that kind of stuff. There's a difference, you know?
Between when it's white and black,
Mm.
or black or white, whatever which way you want to say it.
Also, I think the judgmental side comes from like, let's say for example, I'm struggling with like swearing or something, but then I see like one of you boys struggling with music, and I think to myself, I don't struggle with music,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming, how the hell are you struggling with music? It's
Yeah.
clearly haram. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not thinking straight.
Yeah.
So people aren't really separating the two. So I
It's
think
not
that's where
about
people
you.
are thinking, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this and that, but you got your own fault,
Mhm.
even though it's a different aspect.
Yeah.
I
It's
have that
funny
with
how that
Salah,
works.
but I have that with Salah. Every time I see somebody who tells me that I can't pray, it's so hard for me to pray.
Mm.
I'm like, 25 minutes
Yeah, see?
max in a day. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, it's like not a big deal, but alhamdulillah, like that's something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me with,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
But this person that's struggling to pray,
Mhm.
I can't fathom it. It's like the basic thing that you need to be doing to be considered a Muslim is Salah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, like that's your bare minimum. But then again, like who am I to come in and say that stuff to you?
Everyone's
Uh-huh.
tested differently, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I don't really
100%.
know their situation.
Mm.
Alhamdulillah, bro. In the end of the day, we got to focus on ourselves.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to transition to a couple of points. Yeah. Boys, how was Perth? Off the
Perth
bat.
was good, man.
Mm.
That's just been a few times though, so I'll talk a bit. So
Sure.
last time I went, I think it was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
6
And why
years
I'm
ago.
asking
No,
this
actually, a couple
question?
years ago you went.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 3, 4.
You sure?
Yeah.
Also, just so the audience know, yeah. by the
Could've
way,
been
why I'm
twice.
asking, why I'm
Yeah.
asking this question, yeah, is just so obviously when we do like little trips here and there and stuff like that, just to
Yeah.
keep them, I guess, sort of in the loop with like little trips and stuff that we get up to type of thing. You know, and you guys posted while you guys were in there in Perth. You mentioned it to on our Instagram account, so people might want like a little bit of a recap.
Yeah.
So
So basically, the main reason we went was we do a Ramadan Expo every year, the family business.
Mhm.
It's like 2 weeks before Ramadan, roughly. And it's just over like a long weekend,
Yeah.
and it's done every year. Asha's been going almost every year, and so that's why we posted it. And obviously, we got to I think see some people there as well.
For sure.
But it was good. Alhamdulillah. Like for me, which I realized the Muslim community is very different, and it's very interesting to see, because in terms of the demographic, how different it is. So, for example, from what I've seen, a lot of Indonesians, a lot of South Africans. So, in terms of the demographic and the community, they're a lot more like relaxed. They're just
'Cause there's no
more
limos.
to themselves. Exactly. There's none of us for it. But it just shows like how powerful it is, like the difference of like the influence of communities, different cultures. So it was like a breath of fresh air, like really to see different.
Are they more relaxed in Perth? Is that what it is? Is it much more relaxed?
Much more.
I think just in general, Muslim or not, just how they are, because it's
Mm.
more spacious.
No traffic.
Bro, there's no traffic at
Yeah.
all. Peak hour doesn't exist to me,
Yeah.
bro. Honestly, yeah.
And there's no daylight savings. Is
Yes.
it always sunny there, even in winter? Is that what it is, or is it only got like Queensland?
it's like it's nice weather like 8 months of the year, 9 months of the year. It gets obviously a bit cold, but
Mm.
summer's really hot in Perth.
Yeah. That's
Like most people in Perth got a pool, at least, or like big houses. Like at least that's what I hear. That's what I.
But the crazy thing for like people that live in Perth, it's like 3-4 hours to Bali, Malaysia. So like you can just
Yeah.
go to Asia like
Yeah.
that.
and that's what they have the same time difference or time zone as Malaysia and
Yeah.
stuff. That's why there's so many of them. Just it's
And that's
much
why,
easier.
and that's why they almost like never come to. Well, they call it the East Coast: Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane.
yeah.
Because there's no need. It's the same distance. You either go overseas or you come to the East Coast. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm going to go overseas.
Yeah.
Stop
Expensive.
Melbourne,
It's
stop Sydney.
expensive, man.
100%.
They're not true Australians then. They must not really go what we go through down here type of thing. Bottom of the world. Like they're probably gonna make tweets and stuff saying about how Melbourne and stuff are already in Ramadan. You know, the months because you know
but they're just different area, bro. It's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like Australia.
yeah.
But we forget, like I was telling some people in Perth, we forget how far away Perth is. They say the distance between Perth and Melbourne is further away than the distance between London and Moscow, the entire Europe.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's Melbourne to Perth,
Yeah.
the entire Europe, and it's like by kilometers. And it's like
What are we
what?
doing on this island, bro?
Because we don't go around and suss out this island. That's
Nah,
what it
we
is.
It's
don't,
expensive.
man.
Huh? Yeah, it is
Yeah,
very,
it
very
is,
expensive.
Yeah,
It's like similar to that. It is if it is quicker to go from Melbourne to New Zealand than it is to go from Melbourne to Cairns.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a shorter distance. Like that's how massive it is or whatever. And on the little map, we're just a little island type of
Mm.
thing. You know what I mean?
I got Jade. Isn't the flight to Gold Coast only like 2 hours?
I think maybe
Yeah, two and a
I don't
half,
know.
yeah,
maybe
something
maybe
like
a bit
that.
longer, just because Sydney's like an hour and 20.
What are you laughing?
I'm laughing at. Do you know Theo? You guys know Theo, the comedian?
No.
The guy with the,
Oh yeah,
the
that-
comedian.
like
or
he was
whatever.
with the Asian. Is it the Asian guy? That guy?
He's with Bobby Lee.
Yeah,
Lex
that guy.
Friedman,
I know
Joe
Bobby
Rogan,
Lee.
all that.
The Ranger?
Yeah, nah, he's not
Nah,
a reggae.
he was on Joe Rogan once.
He's like,
Theo Vaughn. Oh,
yeah. Like proper, like
Yeah,
I
he's
guess
funny, bro.
that's what I think of like a hillybilly. That's how they speak. You know what I mean? But he was saying, oh, what's his thoughts on Australia? And he goes off the rip. He goes, oh, it's their time to come back. Like you've served your time. I think because like we're a penal colony type of thing. And he
Away
goes-
from the world.
I was just thinking, how's this guy think of that stuff? That's subhanAllah.
It's true,
Yeah.
bro. We're so far away, man.
Mm.
It's crazy.
But it's good to go. It's good to suss out other cities. You know, it's part of Australia, meet new people. And it's good because sometimes we need the refresher just on different ways. Because Perth and Melbourne, it's still Australian government.
Yeah.
So our way of life stuff, but they're much more relaxed, they're in a rush. They're down to be more social, more family time.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that. It's kind of like rejuvenating. It's like, okay,
For
you
sure.
get your priorities straight.
Mm.
You know, a
know,
lot of
pro-
them are go to the mosque, like, you know, it's like you just go.
It's a relaxed lifestyle for sure.
Yeah.
In the time you guys have been in WA, have you ever sussed out their beaches and
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
thoughts on them?
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Honestly-
But it's better than us.
Well, no one's there. That's what I like.
Yeah, that was it. It's a lot more
It's
relaxed.
actually gorgeous.
Honestly, I reckon of Perth when I went, you know how like Europeans and people from the other side of the world, they think of Australia like it must be like this, nice beaches, like not many people, it's very relaxed. I think Perth is that.
Mm.
What Europeans are thinking of Australia, that's it. It's not
Yeah.
Melbourne, it's not Sydney.
Mm.
Would you move there?
No.
Either of you? You're already
I
in
would.
Perth,
Nah.
basically.
Yeah,
now.
bad. 1 hour away now.
Ah.
I would if I was retired and had nothing going for me,
Mm.
probably.
It depends
That
if, it
sounded
depends
so
if it's
sad.
long.
Yeah.
It depends how long.
Would you do it for a year or two?
Maybe a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly,
a year or
that's
two.
like-
What age though? Like in
And
this,
there has to be a purpose for it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's,
like
there's no real reason to
Oh,
move
yeah,
there.
you
work
get a
at the
good
mines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at the mines. A lot of the brothers there actually work at the mines. So I was speaking to one of my
What do they
mates.
call it? Fly in, fly out? That's what they call
Something
it. Yeah.
like that, yeah.
I've
There's-
thought of
th-
it, bro.
There was even what?
Think about it. 3 weeks, you make like
Isn't it 6 months? You have to work?
Nah, it's different.
there's different
rosters.
timing
Different
and stuff.
rosters,
yeah.
3 weeks, you can bank in about like 10K, if I'm not wrong. So you work for 3 weeks straight, and obviously you're saving money in the process because you're not spending. You're in the mines. Food is given to you. Accommodation is given to you,
Mm.
and then you get 1 week off for like the month type of thing.
I heard, because it depends on where you are in WA, but I heard a lot, because they pay for your flights.
Yeah.
I heard there's a lot of Aussies that live in Bali and work in the mines because just rent is so much cheaper. You know?
Right,
So
genius.
That
it's
makes
when
sense.
It's like food, and so you work in the mines, and then you just fly to Bali 3-4 hours. Because the flight to Perth is that long, and they might fly you back to Perth, and from there you'll go. If not, you just go straight there.
Genius.
And it's like, okay, I take a week off, I'll be in Bali.
Well, that's
You're
you
making
not
like
paying
proper dosh
Perth
and
the
then
rent.
less accommodation.
probably live like a king in Bali as well, bro.
Yeah.
100%.
The
Oh,
Perth rent
definitely,
was
yeah.
literally the same as Melbourne, which I was surprised about.
Perth rent is.
Yeah, in a
Oh,
lot
really?
of areas. Yeah. I was like surprised because Sydney rent is
Yeah.
out of this world, but then I heard people paying 400, 500, 600, and it's like,
Is it
Bloody
because it's so spacious and whatever?
maybe because they're big houses, it's just
Big, yeah.
demand.
Yeah, I think bigger
And they
land.
say Perth per capita has the most millionaires in Australia.
Yeah, that was
There's a
random.
lot more wealthy people in Perth, you know, and a lot of it is up next to the beach. Like everything's like 15, 20 minutes from the
Mm.
beach. It's just because the whole coast.
Yeah, because they're so isolated. They're all in that like one area.
Yeah.
It's
So-
like limbo is what they do to Altona, basically.
Alternative beach stinks, but bro. You gotta go.
You can't compare that to
Beach
Perth,
is the
bro.
worst.
Huh?
Werribee Beach.
Apparently, yeah.
I've
You know,
never
it's funny,
been.
I've never been Werribee Beach.
Yeah, I heard it's the
Didn't even know where we had a beach.
Yeah, bro. Exactly.
No,
Why would
being
they even have
serious.
one? Like, you don't even deserve a beach, bro. Well, like, Werribee doesn't deserve one.
You want to hit some Ramadan topics?
You want to hit some of that topics?
Yeah.
What about Sus? I want his Sydney trip.
Oh yeah, you went to Sydney.
blend
That's
in.
right.
He went to
Sydney.
Sydney too.
I realized
Did
that
a couple of
blended in
wayfarers.
Sydney.
No, but then you blend in until you start talking because you're more Melbourneian, bro. When you
You
talk,
reckon? I reckon I can get away with it.
yeah,
Oh, no.
Next
Actually, to
level,
be honest with you, I'm
yeah.
a bit more
More-
domesticated.
it's a nice way to put it.
By the way, did the Liberal accent originate in Sydney or did it originate in Melbourne?
I think anywhere you got heads, bro, it's going to originate.
They just came in.
It's just how it
They
works,
came
bro.
in big numbers,
It's
bro.
just how it
Just-
works. I think even here, like my uncle's generation and stuff,
Yeah.
they all had their accent.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, strong. Yeah,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
the north. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Even the certain families.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Look at his head, look. You got them ones there as well, bro.
Yeah.
They they have a very strong Lebanese kind of accent, Lebanese Australian accent.
For sure.
But yeah, bro, I don't know, man. I went there. I know that a lot of people say, "Oh my God, bro, the head's in Sydney." I'm like, you're probably ahead too.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing, yeah.
Yeah, that is
Like,
so true.
I went there and I was like,
By
chill.
the way, for the
Everyone's
non-Australians,
relaxed.
what's a head?
Oh, for non-Australians, the head is Sounds bad, yeah.
Yeah, it does. But we all get it.
Head is like you got a rough head, like you're
I can't take it serious.
you're a bit rough around the edges. You know, if somebody was to insure you, they'd probably have to go to RSPCA to do so. But yeah, that's about it, bro. That's all I can help
strong
you.
That's our
personalities.
veterinary service, isn't it?
No, RSPCA is for animals, bro.
That's what vets are for.
Parents have to get pet insurance. But yeah,
How long were you there for?
Huh?
How long were you there for?
3 days. So I went and worked
wow.
on the Friday because we've got a bit of business there in Sydney.
Mm.
Sounds so bad if you think about it.
Yeah,
But
it does.
no, we do have business in Sydney, alhamdulillah. Smashed it out. Went for. Bro, the best thing about Sydney is the food spots. Bondi is the first time I've been Bondi in my life.
Yeah,
You went
nice.
there?
Yeah.
Crazy. No one speaks English on the beach.
Yeah, when I speak.
Everyone, I don't know what they say, bro. Spanish.
There's a lot of South
French,
Americans, yeah,
Yeah.
in Sydney.
Brazilians, all this
Or like
kind of
tourists,
stuff,
it's
bro.
a lot- it's a massive
just
tourist
just
area.
a massive tourist area, bro.
Yeah.
Negolo, yeah.
And just white people, so tourists and white people.
Yeah.
And Lebos, so this is what I realized. The only people that go to that beach are people who are leveled up physically. Everybody's huge. Everybody's like built, got a six-pack.
Baywatch.
Up there with my t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Me and my
The only
friend,
guy with the t-shirt, yeah.
me and us cats were laughing. We're like, how do you stand out Bondi Beach? Everyone has a six-pack. Cats, watch me. T-shirt, bro. But yeah, man, that place is crazy. But they say that all the Lebos are at Brighton Les Sands. So if you are, that's like the default setting. Brighton Les Sands is the default setting for the Lebos in Sydney.
Yeah.
And then if you've leveled up, you've got a six-pack now, or the steroids have kicked in, you can go to Bondi Beach. But yeah, now they have, apparently there's another beach or freshwater place close to the city.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was
Is
called.
that a clean beach though?
Yeah, apparently it's
It-
very
yeah.
clean. It's like clear. So I was like, oh, well, why didn't we go there? And then the boys were like, we just want to go eat more food spots. We want to go hit more spots. Oh, khalas, whatever.
For
I'm
sure.
happy. But Bondi Beach is crazy.
Mm.
Like these guys have established a perimeter. That's how like dangerous the water is there. Like they've got like a security, like not security guard, a lifeguard
At each
in
point.
between each flags. You know, usually like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
if you drift down the flags, we don't care.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, if you've drifted out on the Gold Coast, if you drifted out on the flags, no one cares. You die, it's your problem. We told you, there's the flags. These ones are like, nah, we're not picking
They're
bodies
on
out the
watch.
water no more.
Yeah.
They've got one here. They've got one like as far as they possibly can get, and then
Wow.
they got like another one on the other perimeter. So they've basically established some sort of a square, and they've basically monitoring the area for rips. And I started to feel a current because we ended up drifting out from the thing because the waves took us a bit further out from the flags. And I started to feel this thing pull me, bro. I'm like, yeah, Allah, I've never felt this before in my life. Bro, it's crazy, yeah? You think in your head, nah, I'm a good swimmer. Bro, you're not a good swimmer. Nobody's a good swimmer. The ocean
Humbles
gets
you
you, you're
nicely.
gone. That's it. There's no option. But anyways, enough about Bondi Beach.
What I know about Bondi is the TV shows they used to have on it.
Yeah, Bondi Rescue.
Yeah, Bondi Rescue. That's all I know about.
That's I was looking for the blokes. They don't exist.
You trying to be on TV?
All those
yeah?
blonde guys aren't there, bro.
With a little bit of sunscreen on the tip of the
Yeah,
nose.
exactly, bro. These guys, I'm looking for them. I was like, yeah, mate, ain't going. Not there, bro. No one's there. I'm being serious. No one's there. Not even Bondi Vet. He's not there. Nobody's taking him
Vet.
anywhere. There was a lot of people that needed treatment on the beach.
Yeah.
There were a lot of heads on the beach.
Hopefully people can understand now. But
Yeah, because it can easily be misconstrued, bro.
But yeah, man. Nah, honestly, like I'll travel to Sydney, but I don't understand how people live there.
yeah, same.
It's expensive and the roads are terrible.
Did you drive? So you drove this time or someone else?
No, it's, one of the boys drove, but I realized like
Still notice.
it's taxing, bro. It takes 40 minutes to get from one place to another.
Can't
At
be
least
late to that place.
they've got no
Yeah.
freeways. They've like barely got freeways.
Or if you do it's expensive, the tolls.
Yeah,
Very
why.
expensive.
I don't know. It's a bit odd place, but I like it.
Oh wait,
I'll
It's
Yeah,
nice for a
really.
visit. It's perfect.
Go, eat good food, come back.
wait, their
Yeah.
freeways are like if you go to the east here where you got to pay for the East Link.
More
East Link's
expensive.
$5. You could pay 25 in Sydney on a toll.
Yeah, man.
Are you talking about like the Harbour Bridge and that?
Well, it depends if you take a couple different freeways and stuff. But here you can't like. There's no route you can do that you would spend more than $10,
Yeah.
even if you take CityLink and stuff like.
Yeah,
The old coat hanger.
Yeah.
yeah, dollar stuff like that.
That place is nice, bro. I
What?
like it.
Which
The-
place?
I've never been. Remember we went at night to the Harbour Bridge in the Opera
yeah.
House? I went during the day to see what it's like. But it's actually pretty good. There's all these little cafes and bars and restaurants and stuff.
And it
Underneath.
depends on where you go to.
Yeah.
Because we only went to one
We should
side.
go.
was actually really nice. We met a security guard there, Lebanese security guard. He's a funny guy, bro. Sorry, he's connected. I'm not gonna say anything. he's a good bloke. He's a good bloke. He actually hooked us up with free parking.
We love
Not
you.
free parking. He
Just
gave
off
us
the
the
bat.
lowdown. We went to these different places, and he's like, "Nah, don't go there. Go there. Don't go there." You know.
Any
That's
food
good.
recommendations you give to someone?
Yeah, go to Titanic.
Titanic.
Titanic. Apparently, it's very good. I didn't go, but it's the hot spot for back in the day where they used to do the drive-bys in Sydney.
As in, what type of drive-bys we're talking?
Shootings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What do you think these drive-through movies?
Drive-through movies, bro.
This guy.
No, don't go to Titanic. So you got Sparkling, which is like an Italian restaurant. It's actually very nice. It's in. Do you remember we went with Peter Daffley to that
Noodles?
Asian area? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice area.
Yeah.
Burwood.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So they got a place called Sparkling there in between all the Asian restaurants. It's an Italian restaurant. It's really nice. Two smoking Arabs came here actually last weekend.
Are they
So
still
we
here?
didn't get to get it. No, they left.
Ahmed was asking him today. He's burning now.
Yeah, I know, bro. I
What
know.
happened to Tisserie?
Wallah, I got so pissed off. Don't say that, bro. No, we love Tisserie.
Yeah.
This guy loves his Tisserie too much. It's like he's sponsored by them.
But,
He just goes there every time. Hey, I'm the FD editor. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was good. That place called Mina Bakery was really nice. You know what they have there that we don't have that needs to be a common thing? When you go to a cafe, they've always got these crushed ice like mocktails. So like lemon, lime, mint.
I like mocktails.
All them ones there, but like crushed ice. So it's basically like a frozen Coke or whatever it is from Macca's.
Yeah.
But it's like
And fresh.
watermelon and
all fresh?
yeah, bro. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I like the idea.
Their
man.
food game's way better than ours. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
I have to admit it.
Yeah, definitely.
And their coffee
But
stepped up.
I think it's also a bit different because they're all in one area. Like if you go Western Sydney, all the halal food. If you go anywhere else, you might be struggling for food.
Yeah,
So Western Sydney is prime, but then here in Melbourne we're a bit more spread out.
yeah.
You know, and all our Muslims aren't just in one area.
But
We
do
got-
we have good like restaurants over here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think we do.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think they're being biased. I reckon we're okay.
Well, yeah.
Like if you've traveled, you guys have traveled, bro.
But
like you've seen what London is like. That spec is crazy. Like
But how
They-
many people are in London compared to Melbourne?
no,
Just
I get it,
demand,
I get it, 100%. But what I'm saying is, we got to look at it for what it is, regardless
And at
of
least do
the
a fair,
ratio.
Yeah, at least a fair comparison, like somewhere like Sydney, for example.
Sydney's
you know?
way better than us.
But it depends on what cuisine you're going for. Like I was in Turkey, and the food here in Melbourne, like Turkey's 10 times cheaper. You
Yeah.
spend $3 on a meal. Here it's $25, but the food standard's about the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah.
think about it, you're literally in the home country, and here you might like the food more.
It's like buying a Mercedes in Germany, huh?
Yep.
So it's one of those things. But I think when you go travel, all you're doing is trying new restaurants. Like when I'm in London, you for 10 days straight, you're literally googling best places to eat. When I'm here, I might eat out once a week, once a fortnight, and I'm normally going to the same places.
Yeah.
This guy wants to go tisserie, and then you just go.
yeah.
Bloody
You're trying the same places, but if you actually go and branch out, you might be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
bro, I've basically been everywhere, you know me.
Mm.
Yeah. And I've seen what it is to be
'Cause-
around all
yeah.
the places in Melbourne. I've been to all of them, basically, tasted them all.
Mm.
I understand that there's a level of quality. It's pretty good. You can
But the
sustain it.
variation isn't there.
But we're talking like
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah, there's levels, yeah. Like, bro, like even
Mm.
in Birmingham, I remember my cousin one night, on the last night, I was leaving, and then after he goes, I'm going to take you out to eat. What are you feeling? You know what I mean? I'm not really feeling anything, whatever, just take me anywhere type of thing. I don't mind, you know? And he goes, okay, I got a spot for you. We're going to go to a Jamaican restaurant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, is it halal, fam?
Yeah, it doesn't sound hard.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And then after he goes, bro, this place is, you just trust me, you're a raider type of thing. He takes me to there. Bro, other than that Chemen place that we went to in Turkey, yeah, it was probably the best dish that I had. And I was like, I would never outwardly go and try Jamaican restaurants. But then, like, if I'm thinking of me in Australia,
Where is it?
where is a Jamaican restaurant? I remember asking this Jamaican person, yeah, do we have any Jamaican restaurants here? He goes, yeah, there's a spot in Geelong. What happened to Melbourne, like, what happened to Melbourne?
There's one in Queen Victoria Market, you know, the night markets. They have those little pop-up shops.
There, yes.
But
yeah.
that's okay. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's, you don't have a
It's a style.
variety where you can go, okay, I measured this compared to that. When you go, what's it called? Even, bro, even the, you know, the Indian food and the subcontinental food, like the Pakistani food and that. Oh, it's much better there, bro. I don't know what it is. I had a butter chicken there and a chicken tikka masala.
That's nice, man.
Bro, I haven't tasted anything like that in my life, bro. Like, not like here. Obviously, that's not Indian food. I know everyone's going to attack me. It's a white man's creation. I get it. Let's chill out. I'm just comparing the dishes in two different countries.
Yeah, facts. Now, because I was also thinking for a minute, because I was like, maybe it's because I'm here in Melbourne and I've been here for so long. Obviously, the grass is green on the other side type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the food's definitely better in Brisbane and this and that, you know what I mean? Not Brisbane.
Gold Coast is dead food-wise. Just put that out there.
Yeah.
Gold Coast is dead food-wise.
There's no culture over there. That's just like 18-year-olds that are going there for schoolies.
Yeah, and they do the shisha bar, and we happen to have food as well.
Yeah.
And that place, they charge you $25 for a skewer. One skewer of meat and some salad.
Yeah,
bro, I was about to tell the guy at the front, bro, you're robbing these guys blind, aren't you? Good on you. I was going to knuckle touch you, move on. But I'm not going to eat there. I'm going to go Guzmani Gomez and eat a chicken tikka
They'll
masala.
get more value.
Yeah, facts.
I'm joking.